Hi guys, I'm Jenica from Multispective, and I'm here with you with a new episode where I interview Joe Sooch, an individual with a very rare condition called the Fibrodysplasia Ossificans Progressiva, or in other words, the Stone Man syndrome. A very rare condition that affects only one in about 1 million people around the world. It is a condition where the muscle slowly and progressively turns into bone. So he's about 30 years old right now, and he has lost motion and movement in most of his body at this point and lives a very, very painful sort of life and journey. He talks about it with such resilience, with such power, the ways that he's moved on, the way he copes. Again, this is a disease that has no cure as well. So having to come to terms with the fact that you're slowly losing parts of your body and not really able to do anything about it has been a very, very difficult journey. So we delve really deep into this condition. We talk about how it happens, what triggers it, what caused it for him, and all of the things that you may want to know about it. It's a really inspirational story as well in the way that he has come out mentally very strong.
Do whatever you want to do. Like, no one can stop you. Like, no one's stopping you from making an Instagram post. No one's stopping you from making videos. Like, I don't know what you're waiting for. Just do it.
And how he's found strength in the face of adversity. So Joe, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, where in the world are you as well?
So I'm in New York City, so everyone knows where that is. So I don't have to put that on a map or anything. Yeah, I'm in New York City. I'm 30, almost 31 years old right now. So I'm really old now. Like, I'm gonna be looking for nursing home soon. So that'll be fun.
I want to know a little bit about your childhood. Like, were you born and raised in New York?
Yeah, I was born and raised and die here because that's where my parents are, and I have to live with them. So obviously, I'm gonna go wherever they go. So yeah.
So you still live with your parents, and do you have siblings?
Yeah, I have to because I'm too disabled to live on my own anywhere. So I have to. I rely on people to take care of me basically to the day I die. Unfortunately.
Right. Yeah. How was that for you? Like, processing that, understanding that? I mean, I guess, you must have been fairly young when you sort of came to understand that this is sort of going to be the trajectory of your...
I mean, I was actually independent till like I was age like 21-ish or so. So like, I never thought I'd be bound to my parents just based on my disease. Be okay, but then my disease obviously progressed to a point where I need to carry kind of 95% of my life, and super unfortunate, but that's something I don't have a choice over. It's either live with my parents or just like I get die on the street because I can't take care of myself. I have a feeding tube in my stomach, so I can't even feed myself. So like I would just die from thirst over. I think you cannot have water for like 2 days or so, and then like you die. So so I need to be surrounded by someone that knows how to take care of me, unfortunately.
Yeah, fair enough. Tell us about this. What is this that you're living with?
So I have a rare disease called FOP where my muscles just basically turn into bone. So I was just born being able to move all my limbs normally and such, and then just year after year, my body just starts to freeze into place, and like when I was able to walk for miles and slowly walk short distances, and like now I can't walk at all. Um, I could move my arms however I wanted. I lost movement of that. I just losing basically 95% of my body's movement, and that's really it. Like, there's nothing a doctor could do to help you with the pain or anything. I can't get surgery because my body will just repair itself with more bones, so I'm just kind of stuck the way my body wants me to be in, no matter how severe it is. That's just the way my body's gonna be, and I just have to accept it.
So once again, your muscles turn into bones.
Yeah.
I just need a minute to like process this.
I'll give you 20 minutes. I had all my life to process this, so take all the time you need.
I think it's weird. I think it's very different reading it versus hearing it and seeing it. I think it's just like trying to understand how does this work? Do you know the science behind this? Like, have the doctors been able to explain
I mean,
how?
there is a faulty DNA and faulty gene in my DNA that's gone haywire. That's just, it's some it's beyond my pay grade basically. But there's something wrong with my DNA that's just like repairing itself with bones all over the place, and like and nothing. My body thinks it's doing a good job, but it's really not, and it's just impacting my entire existence, and it affects everyone around me too. And yeah, it's just not like it's the only disease in the world where one body part turns into another, and like it's
Mhm.
like something would read kind of in like a horror book or something. But like fortunately I had to have it and experience it. Yeah, it doesn't seem real when you do read it on a piece of paper. Even though I have the disease, I see other people and read it, and it's like I don't know, like doesn't hit me. It hits me like wow, this disease is amazing, but like I don't know, it's just different when you're in it to experience it. It's like I don't know, it's like a mind fuck all the time. Like, it shouldn't exist at all, but here we are.
Right. Um, Talk to me about like the communities that you have found of people that also have this. Have you found a community of people? Are there people out there
I
that,
mean,
I
there's
mean,
a
there's a
big
term for
community
it.
of people
Right.
that do have it. I just don't really put myself in there because I'm just a unique person, or I just don't get along with them as well as I want to. Just personality wise, I mean, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what your disease is. But I
Hmm.
mean, others have found it very useful, and I totally get it. But for my sake, it doesn't matter. There's other people in this similar situation where like, so what? We have the same disease, but it doesn't mean anything. Like, we just don't get
Mm.
along as people, and like, I'm not gonna force a relationship just because we have the same disability. It's not a great
Yeah,
way
for
to
sure.
do.
Mm. Yeah. Can you tell me about like your childhood? Was this already starting to be apparent in your childhood, or did it only really occur later on in your life where your muscles
So
started
like around the
turning?
age of 8, I lost my arms and such. So it was apparent that I couldn't move my arms so much anymore, and my shoulders, and then during puberty, my spine um, got frozen. So instead of growing tall, I developed severe scoliosis, and that was really painful. And then in college, my second semester of college, one of my hips went, so I lost. So going from walking miles to I can barely walk short distances, and I had trouble sitting and stuff, and I had to use a wheelchair somewhat. And then around the age of 25 is my other hip went, so like I lost the ability to sit kind of anywhere at the point. I can't walk anymore, so I'm relying on a wheelchair all the time to get around. And I mean, I had other flares throughout the years, but they're very minor compared to like the big thing like losing your arm movement. That's a big life altering event. Not being able to walk is a huge life altering event that you don't even know how to react to it. Like, there's no way to prepare for it too. And like the other thing is the unpredictability of the disease. Like, there are people that couldn't walk since the age of like 10 years old, and there are people that could walk to their 30s. This is so unpredictable that you kind of want to prepare for the worst, but you also don't want to know what is the worst. Like, you just want to live what you have now. And then
Mm.
also, like, going back to the question of finding others, you don't really, you already have your own problems and shit, so you don't want to experience other people's problems because like yours is already a lot to handle. And I
Mm.
don't like it. People will like express like, oh, their like problems, and like get them, and that's why like it affects me, and like I don't want to hear it because like I can't do anything about it, and it sucks. And
Mm.
I like I rather worry about myself and my problem because that's what I can do and can't solve
Mm.
yours. And like
Yeah.
I understand like friends are like, oh, they have problems at job and rent and such, but sometimes you just have to accept your situation and move on. Like I'm
Yeah.
more of a complainer to get something fixed, but like if you
Hmm.
can't fix it, there's no point of complaining. But I also don't want to minimize people that it is really hard thing to accept. Like, oh, you can't walk anymore. Like, how do you react?
Mm.
One, how do you react as that person? And then two, if you're the opposite end of the friend being told that you can't walk anymore, like what? There's nothing you can say to help support that person. At the end of
Yeah,
the
that's
day,
true.
at the end
You
of the
just
day,
have
mental
to
health is
come to.
really your
Mhm.
arena that you have to fight alone.
I just want to like know a little bit more about this, and for our listeners to also kind of like wrap their head around this a bit better. So it was a progressive thing. You started off with, your muscles as normal, and it started slowly sort of turning into bones. Um,
Mhm.
how was it? Like each muscle, was it like an overnight thing, or did it slowly transition? And how did
So
it
I would get these
feel?
thing called flares, would be swellings all over my body. So, well, the thing is, the swelling is so severe that if you, let's say you can move your elbow as much as you want, the swelling is so severe that it will just lock your elbow into place already. So you already can't move it anymore, and then the bones grow within the swelling, and then the swelling eventually goes away, and then the bone stays there, and then the bone is the one that locks the body into place. So it's basically like you're waking up in the morning just hurting and like, oh, I can't move my this limb anymore. Like that's it. Like
Mm,
there's no turning back to it. You just have to just keep moving forward.
mm. Wow. And you must be so hyper aware of each and every muscle in your body and every bone in your body because of it, sort of knowing I've got these many bones or muscles
I
left.
mean, I don't feel anything. I mean, you feel the process of the bone growing as it's going, but afterward, you don't feel anything. Like obviously, I feel it if I want to extend my elbow, but like you don't really feel it. Still, just feel like your body self. Like you don't feel you extending your elbow at all. Like you don't feel anything. Just feels regular, I guess. I don't know.
Right. Can you just tell me about like how frequent does this happen? Is it like on random, or are there certain things that trigger it, or would you just like wake up one day and be like, I feel like this is going to happen today and I'm going to
I
lose a limb?
mean, they said you're not to get one of the triggers is getting hurt, but it's a problem with that getting hurt is that not accurate though. So like if you took two people with my disease like and throw them down the stairs, like on the first time you might get, a flare, but the second person might not get a flare till like the seventh time they fall down the stairs. It's very unpredictable. So like it doesn't even make sense. Most of like 99% of my flares are has been just totally random, nothing to just totally random. They don't know what the trigger is at all.
Hmm.
But like when you do get a flare, you always think back like last week, like did you do something to like trigger it anyway? Like most of the time you didn't. But there are times where like I thought I had a flare, I did something. I'd be like, oh, I'm definitely getting a flare, but nothing happened. So it's very like just unpredictable. So like I think that's what makes the disease where it's like you can't prevent it from happening. Like no matter what happened, even if you're like live in a bubble, like you're gonna get flares, and around like the age of 30, you probably lose like 95% of your body's movement, no matter if you're protected to the maximum or not protected at all. But that being said, you want to have some protection because like if you're doing sports and stuff, you're putting yourself more harm's way, and the chance of you being more, I guess, disabled will your disease will progress faster. So you want to be more on
Hmm.
the safer side, but like being too safe is a very complicated issue among the community because there are people that protect you all the time, like no contact at all or anything, but like and they wear like the soft helmets and stuff. And I get it, but at the same time, not letting them be kids. Like so, like some will like no bicycles at all because like if they fall, like they'll get a flare and a bone growth. But like sometimes you want to let them be kids too when they still can do it because like you don't want to rob them of their childhood because of the disease,
sure.
even though they will eventually lose it anyway. So like it's a very hard thing. Like do you protect them and have them a longer, let's say arm movement life, or let them be kids and do whatever they want and then let them live with the circumstances of like, I don't know, their arm being locked into place and such and let them enjoy what they can because, when your body locked into place, there's a lot, the list of things that you want to do become much less. So like if you have the chance to do it, you might as well do it. Like it could be the same with like money. Like you have $10,000. Do you want to save it for a rainy day, or do you want to spend it now when you're still young and can still enjoy
What was
it?
that like for you when you were a kid? Like, were your parents trying to protect you at all costs, or were
I'm
they?
just a very stubborn kid. I just kind of did whatever I wanted to. I
Yeah.
didn't ever thought of myself as disabled, if that makes sense. Like I just kind of did whatever I wanted to do, given if I could do it with my limitation and such. I mean, I'm still potential. I didn't really do sports or anything like that, and I really wish I could because I would be a very sport and athletic person. Like I just love like working out. Like will love to wake up at 5 a.m. and just work out and watch what I eat and just be like have a six pack and all that.
Is
But
that
that's not
something that
happening.
you kind of like miss the most out of like
I mean, I never
it?
had that lifestyle at all. So like, nothing I would miss, but just something I would love to
Wish that
do
you could.
now because
Yeah.
I feel like your body is controllable in terms of like you put in what you want to achieve. So like, I, I'm not saying I'm control freak, but like I have this body, I would want to look the best I could at this age and this age part of time. So I have very good discipline myself and like with food and working out. So like I would eat well and work out to have that good body because like I want to look good all the time. Like
It's easy.
I
Look, the
just
thing
love
is, I
being
think
out.
it's very easy to take it for granted when you have a fully functioning body and mind because you don't notice all the little parts, the little moving parts within our body and acknowledge and appreciate that, hey, look, everything is working for you to be your best, right? In that very moment, you're just thinking about, how do I get through the day? Or maybe a lot of people, I know I am a lot of the times focused on the things that, maybe are not the happiest of moments. And it's hard sometimes to bring my mentality back to like, hey, but look, I've got this going for me. Because again, it's just so naturally who I am. I wake up every day like this, right? But I think for a person who's experienced losing that, or maybe experiences on a day-to-day basis losing that, you see the world in a very, very different light. And I think this is why it's really important to have guests like you on our show, just to kind of like shed light on like, what are the variety of different things that are out there, and kind of like look inwards and just for a moment just be grateful, like not to take anything for granted, right?
Yeah.
um yeah.
I mean, it's hard to. It's always easy to like talk about stuff without like any actual results of it. I'm a very polarized and disability advocate, I guess. With
Yeah.
that, like I'm very realistic of like the way this idea is and stuff. Like if you want to achieve great thing, you have to put effort into whatever you want to do. Like you can't like there'll be regular people that are fat and like they don't work out and stuff, and like and then they'll blame like everything else but themselves. And like I know people that have been in a wheelchair that have been fat and they lost the weight and like they can barely move and they lost the weight. Like what is a regular person that's cute? I don't know, just like I can personally go work out and do that. I think that's what it comes to, like kind of in a selfish way.
So
But
let's go back to like,
yeah.
because I'm sure our guests are right now like itching to know a little bit more about this on a day to day basis, like pain. Would you say that you live with a lot of pain, or do you say when you experience a swelling or an inflammation, that's when you experience pain? The rest of the days, it's not the crux or the bane of your existence.
So like on a regular basis, I'm like a 3 out of 10 pain, and I'm just like deal with it. Like I'm not on any pain medication. I haven't been on in the
Mm.
past. Like I've actually never been on pain medication at all. Like during the worst flares or the hip flares, and that lasts about like a year, so like a year and a half. And like on a 10 scale, it's like a 12 scale, and it's just really painful. And I went to a pain doctor, and he didn't want to prescribe me anything or deal with me, so I was stuck dealing with the pain for a year and a half. So that was really painful. So I don't know if it's
Why
just
didn't he
my
want
body,
to? What was the reason for not
because
wanting?
I'm a very like unique case and such, and like sometimes when you're just a patient that's just too much for a person to handle, they just don't want to deal with you, so they'll just say, "I can't help you," and just move on and such. Like they don't want to learn about you. They just rather, just deal with regular people, and that's just unfortunately that's just a normal occurrence in the disability community. So like when you find a doctor that really like, want to listen to you and actually understand you, then you should definitely keep them. But it's a total normal occurrence of just
Mm.
it's kind of like dating in a way too. Like I'm sure you met people and we're like, oh, they like you, and then they get to know you and they're like, oh, I don't want this.
Too much baggage. Oh.
Yeah,
Um,
it's not even a
but
yeah that, but yeah.
like, what doctor would you go and see? Would you go and see one specializing in bones or in
I don't know.
muscles,
I just see a
or
regular doctor. There's nothing really a doctor can do. I still have like regular problems like ingrown toenail and like skin eczema and stuff. So they go to
yeah,
regular doctors for that. There's really nothing. I mean, it's a unique case of like getting X-rays. Of, like, how the hell do you read an X-ray with like 40 extra bones and such? So it's like always a complex case, and there's no like guidebook about of any kind to do. Like you kind of have to like just wing it in a way. Like if I break the wrist, you just have to like kind of just stick to the normal protocol and maybe change things around if you have to. But
right.
like any situation you they're just kind of like winging it at that moment of like, how the hell do we tackle this issue and such? Because we're so rare that like like there's no like I'm the first person to do kind of any of these things. So yeah, I mean
Yeah.
the doctor would do kind of what the best they can do. They just have to guess like how the best way to help you and such. But yeah, just I don't know, my body is just like got used to the pain so much that it just psychologically just eliminated the pain. That I'm not in that much pain. I don't
Hmm.
know. Like I know people that are on pain medication every single day, and like it's really hard. And not even my
Hmm.
disease, but like the disability. Like some people are in a lot of pain. So I don't know if I'm just not in pain, or I'm in pain, my body is just ignoring it, or am I just lucky? I
Like
honestly
you have a high
don't know.
tolerance. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a high tolerance thing either. It's generally up in the air kind of answer. So
Yeah.
like, but yeah, I haven't been on pain medication. I mean, I also don't. Not that I don't trust medication, but I don't. It what's such about medicine that it has a good thing, but it always has like the side effects of it. And I kind of feel like in my life, I will always have to take heavy medication of some kind. So if I can limit my medication use in some way, I'll definitely do that.
Amazing. Yeah.
So like, I did not been on any medication for the past 10 years.
So how many bones would you say you have at this point?
I mean, I don't. There's no number to it. Like it's just growing. Like I have like web of bones everywhere. So I don't know. I don't really know. They like kind of all connect all the way. So it's really hard to say because bone is now like like when you have like a paintbrush and you like splatter against like a
Canvas.
what do you call it? Like a wall or something. You know how it like
Yeah.
splatters.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how it is when my body is just like splatter of bone everywhere. Like there'll be some places where like a solid sheet of bones, and then there'll be places where there's like a bunch of web and such. So like I don't really know how much like once a player is starting, like you don't have any idea. It just takes one bone to lock that body into place. So it really doesn't matter
Mm.
how
Yeah.
many it grows. It's just like just that one little can just
Mm.
lock the whole elbow or hip
Yeah.
or knee or ankle, and then you're just stuck and
Yeah.
screwed.
Are there like are there parts like of your body that started freezing up that you really did not know or understand or expect until it happened? When it happened, you were like, I did not even know that this was a muscle or an area that I could move that I can't anymore.
I mean, I knew like my body will all of it will be affected, so I really had it just like when you go from the ability to walk and run for miles to like not be able to walk at all is a very like it was a very dark moment for me because like it's really no one's fault of how it why it happened, but like you want to blame someone or something about it because like
Mm.
no person should be in a situation where they're not able to not walk anymore. Like it's just a horrifying experience. And then like
Mm.
I feel like it might be a little bit different. Like let's say I had a car crash and then like I can't walk anymore, but like I have to like visually watch me walk to not walk at all and watch my body destroy itself. And there's nothing I can do. There's nothing a doctor could do. Nothing my parents could do. There's no one in the world can do anything. So I have to literally just watch my body hurt itself, and there's nothing I can do to stop it.
Mm.
I just have to embrace it and move on, as
Yeah.
hard as it is.
What did you and what have you been doing to cope with this, especially the hardest part?
There's nothing to really to do. Is there's a lot of just getting into the pain of it, and then assess your situation and just trying to move on with it. I don't like a big thing is grieving. Like I'll never get over it. Like I have dreams walking and running, and it's like, I don't want to wake up. Like I can't. It's not a great life to really live. Like no one deserves to just not be able to walk anymore. Watch their life
Yeah.
just fall apart in that capacity.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's like almost every day waking up and you're like grieving all over again, grieving the loss of
Yeah, because
some.
yeah, I can't fix it. I can't get any surgery to fix it. So it's kind of like break the glass to like save yourself, and like can't break the glass. There's not like I like control, so like whether it's nothing I can control, like can't control my diet. I can control my diet, but it's not gonna affect anything of the way my body's gonna do. I can't work. I can't go to the gym and help myself. It's just literally the way it is, and I have to accept it, no matter how hard it is for
Mhm.
myself. Like I don't have an alternative. There's no it'd be great to be like, oh, just make $200,000 and like can't get surgery. Like at least it's like a goal, but like there's no goal here. There's just like you gotta live with what you got, and like I'm gonna be like this to the day I die, and there's no turning back. Like, and when you're younger, you're always like, oh, there'll be a cure and treatment. So it's like, oh, I think I gotta get through this rough patch. But like after a while, just reality just sets in, and you're just like, I just have to deal with it. And like there's not,
Mm.
there's just
At
nothing
what point did
to
that
do.
sort of like occur to you? At what point did that reality sort of like hit you that there's absolutely nothing?
Like after like 3 to 6 months, like you just like this
Mm.
very out of body experience. We just have to accept it, and it's like a peace that I guess comes with it, just accepting of it. And like
Mm.
I don't know, it's just maybe they're dumb that we just keep pushing through everything. Like it could be like burning and like all our limbs are cut off and everything, and we just keep pushing on. Oddly enough,
Mm.
so I think like
Yeah.
human spirit and like the brain are just dumb of to keep moving forward, and it's like it's
Mm.
this is not a good life to live for anyone, and like it upsets me like my disease will discuss it into people that have my disease and they have kids and they pass their gene to that kid. I'm just like, why are you making not only your life worse, but now you're making another generation life worse too? And like, how selfish
Mm.
can you be to do that? And it's
So
like,
it is a genetic thing then. It can be passed
yes,
down.
well,
Right.
it is passed down, but the thing that's not in my family tree at all. So I'm the first one, but I can pass it down to my future kids. I have a 50% chance. So I won't have kids because I don't think it's fair for any child to have my disease at all. For me,
Hmm.
I can't blame anyone for my disease. It is a random occurrence. But like if my
Mm.
parents had it and they gave it to me, I'll be like, why did you have me? Like, why don't you birth a regular person that gives a better
Mm.
chance of it? Not just
Right.
like
Yeah, that's a fair
you want to
point.
leave you want to give them the best
Um,
chance of survival.
talk to me
When in
about
this
like
situation for
joints,
me,
because like when muscles, when muscles turn into bones, does it also come with joints, or is it just like hard bone?
it just grows wherever it wants to grow. Joins anywhere. I can just
Because joints also help with
have
movement in a sense, right?
yeah, so it could go there, but it's also the muscles also controls movement too. So like like if you so like I have bones growing in my calf muscle, but the calf muscle controls like you can lift it up and push it down and then left and right. But if you have bones grow in your calf muscle, you lose that movement because you need your full muscle to actually move
Right. Yeah. Okay.
your ankles. So
Right.
it's all connected. So like bones anywhere is will be destructive to any body part really.
Hmm. What are some of the internal muscles that have turned into bone for you that you are aware of? You mentioned that you're not able to sort of eat. So is it the muscle in your throat that has, how does that work?
That's actually I can't swallow because for some reason my muscle that controls my swallowing doesn't work. And the problem I really have is that I actually cannot get surgery to fix my swallowing, so I cannot swallow again. Like if you have my swallowing issue, and a lot of older people get my swallowing issue, and they can get surgery and be good to go. I just can't get surgery, so I actually cannot swallow because of that. It's not really related to my disease at all, which is
Oh,
I know it's ironic in the way that but it's just a kind of a cause thing though. Can't get a surgery because of my disease, but my disease. Well, there's really no direct correlation of my disease causing my body to just start lose the ability to swallow. But
hmm.
because of my disease, I cannot fix the issue. So I have to have a tube in my stomach, and that's how I get all my nutrition for the
Right.
past 8 years now, 7 years.
Right. Yeah. That's really interesting. Um, the heart is a muscle.
Well, the disease doesn't affect smooth muscles, so like the tongue, it won't be affected. Any of your organs will be completely fine. With that being said, the surrounding parts can be affected. So like if you have scoliosis, that will really shift all your organs to different places. Like if you have bone around your heart, it can like limit to my lungs is on like 20% capacity because the ribs is caged in bone, so like can't expand with it. So my lungs are just they're there. They just can't work at all because it's being crushed by my whole body.
Right. Talking about being crushed, I would imagine like, a lot of your nerves and other things that, your veins, I don't know, other parts of the body that are necessary also being sort of like pushed and crushed because of the bones, right?
Yeah, that's nerve pain is really the biggest pains of it all because the bones are never really like smooth. They're always like a little pointy or they're in areas where it push that shouldn't be there. So I have a lot of bones in my neck and that hurts a lot with nerve pain, but you also have like a lot of nerves in your hips and that hurts a lot too, and you have to deal with the nerve pain of what it is. So like a lot of pain in my ribs all the time, and my hips go the way the body is just shifted in a very unnatural situation. Like like I'll be a chiropractor's wet dream of to crack my body and put itself into place because the human body is not supposed to be in a place that it should be in at all. Like it should be nice and straight, and when you're in bed, like you should be like you can't be curved. Like your body just starts to hurt. Like that's been my body for the past 3 decades now, and there's nothing I can do about it. My body just has to accept it, even though it's the most unnatural thing for the body to do, to be in.
Right. How many bones have you like broken in the process?
I've broken like a couple over time, but like it's just doesn't do anything because it's still there. So it's just like another day, I guess, of normalcy. But once the bone is in the muscle, there's not much you can do to fix it. So like sometimes you'll break like little bones here and there, like itty bitty bones, but it doesn't. You just hear like a crack sometimes or something. It's just weird. You can feel it, but it's not a normal sensation of it. But like it's kind of like it's like oh that's unique, but like there's nothing to really fawn over about it. Like I don't know, it's like you get a paper cut, like like a paper cut, and you just move on with your life. It's,
Yeah.
I know I'm making it sound like it's not a big deal. I know it's a big deal in a grand scheme of things, but it's really like not at the same time. It's like, oh, cool. Like it's like, what's your favorite color? Blue. Oh, okay, cool. Like, what are you gonna do with that information? Nothing.
Yeah. Joe, can you walk me through like a typical day for you? Like waking up in the morning, what do you what do you do in a day?
So I like to like have my mom or caregiver like feed me in the morning, and I go to the bathroom. I get dressed, and then I'll like sit in my chair and be at my computer. Like I do a lot of computer work, so I'm blessed to have the capacity to be on my computer and work and do the video editing and talk to you, of course, talk to other people. But yeah, it's blessed that I'm able to be on my computer and work and do stuff that get like to the internet such to have kind of the world at my hand. With that being said, it does suck that I don't have the physical capacity to go out in the world and such. I would definitely be a world traveler. I know before the podcast we were talking about like people would travel to like India and all these great countries. I don't know if I would necessarily travel world traveling, but I live in New York City and would love to travel in a city to like cool spots and unique situations and all that and meet interesting people and just not be limited by anybody but myself. Like if I want to wake up at 4 in the morning and go to Times Square and like I could do that. I can't do that now, but like like all you just need is a train pass and you can go wherever you want. Like there's really no limit to where you want to go. But of course, I have so many limitations. I can't do that. So it just sucks at the potential of what I could do if in a different alternate universe. But fortunately, that's the way my life is.
What about in terms of like career, like work? Are you a full-time podcaster? Do you have you ever worked in a
No,
company?
I mean I get paid to do it, but I get paid like pennies for it. So it's like slavery, I guess, at this point to YouTube. But yeah, I'm a technical engineer. Basically, I did send emails for a women's charity that I do. And then I do YouTube on the side. Like I don't think I make that much money. Like you have to have like 1 million subscribers to make a decent amount of money. So I'm never doing it for the money per se, but like, I do want the fame and potentially the portion that comes with it. So it's just been hustling to work in this niche of disability and just to see where I go because that like the alternative is not doing YouTube and just just being at home and stuff and not meeting people at all or anything like that. And like if I want to become rich and famous, I have to do something. And my best shot would I love to edit video and video edit video and talk to people. Like that's my strong suit, and I'm
Yeah.
funny and charismatic. So I'm gonna use that to good use. So that's what I've been doing, and I've been working pretty well from a view counter, yeah. From a money counter, not really, but it's more about the views
Okay.
for me, so I can flex on people. How about it?
What about dating life? How's that been? What's that like
I
for
don't
you?
have a dating life. It's non-existent.
Yeah. Is that something you would have? Is that something you kind
And
of like wish you could have more of, or is that something
hell
that you?
yeah. I mean, who
Yeah.
wants to be single? I mean,
Yeah.
well, I'd rather be single than dating someone that's wrong for me. But yeah,
Yeah.
if people don't think of me as an attractive person, like sure I'm cute looking, like as a whole package thing, like disability comes with a lot of baggage, and people are just not into that, and I can't really blame people for that. I mean, I also have a unique personality that I can get along with a lot of people, but it's not necessarily that someone I would want to date either. So I kind of feel like I'm in a horrible catch 22 of like people might think I'm attractive physically, but I don't get attractive to them personality wise, so there's never a good match. And the people that I like personality wise are not attracted to me physically, and it's like you can't blame them for anything. So like I'm just in this awful situation, like can't do
Yeah.
anything. But at the end of the day, I think it's my disability that's the biggest deterrent of why
Yeah.
I can't get the one, I guess.
Fair enough. Yeah. And like, what about having a social life? How often do you go out with friends, or do you go for networking
I don't
events?
really
How
have
does?
friends either, so I may go out with my caregiver and such, and I'll go out around the city. Like I do like exploring, so I do explore with my caregiver. That's something I definitely want to do. I would love to do it with other people, but like, people are busy with their lives, they just don't want to spend time with me, and I can't wait on people. So if I want to do something, I'm just gonna do it for me because you live with yourself for the rest for your life entirely. So I'm gonna enjoy the thing that people want to join me. Awesome. If they don't
Yeah.
and they want to do something else, and I'm just gonna let them go because we have one life to live and we can't keep
Yeah.
waiting for people. I can do whatever I want to do, and people like me for that, and they're going to join me on that. And if they want to get off in the next exit, that's fine by me too. I can't help that.
Yeah.
I got, I can't be anchored by someone. I have to
Fair enough.
do me, and I hope people like me for me.
Yeah. When it comes down to sort of planning for, your future and like, going forward, what are some sort of like plans that you've got for yourself?
I don't really have any plans. I'm just going to keep living the way I am and see
Yeah.
what happens in the future.
Yeah.
I could live another 20 years and I'll be with them for 20 years. I don't know. Or they
Right.
kind of taking it day by day, year by year. I mean, hopefully everything will be consistent about it, but I don't really have any plans per se of what to
Are
do.
you
I
are you
just know.
close to your siblings?
I mean, she lives 3,000 miles away, so that's not an option. So, I mean, we're just gonna take it as they come. Everything seems to be. Sorry, I keep moving. Everything seems to be consistently fine right now, so we're just gonna
Yeah.
keep it at.
Yeah.
And if something happens in the future, then we'll talk about it when the time arises.
I know you mentioned earlier, like, one of the things that you wish you could do more of is like exercise and like work on your fitness and like, work on shaping and toning yourself. Is there anything else that you felt kind of like you wished you had a chance to do that you've never really been able to like do? Like certain activities, sports, maybe traveling, certain life
I mean,
related things that,
skydiving
yeah.
would be very cool to do. I'd love to do that.
Which one?
Rock climbing is something I would love to do.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, improv I would definitely do. Because I know there's a lot of voice and stuff, but it's also a physical thing too that I would definitely would get into. I may do it kind of with the talking, but there's something about the physical that I also love cooking a lot too. So I love the ability to swallow. That was hard in itself to just not eat food anymore, but also lose the ability to like move my body around, so I couldn't cook anymore, so that's really hard on me too. Like,
Mm.
if I was able to move, I would still cook, just not eat anything, which would be a really weird thing to do. But yeah, cooking is
Yeah.
a big one. There's just so much food out there. Like, you can cook it a very different meal every single day for the rest of your life, and never have the same meal twice. Be reliant on myself and just leave the house when I want to, and don't have to worry about anything at all. And that'd be really cool to
Yeah,
do.
for sure.
But I mean, unfortunately, that's just the way my life is, and I can't. I mean, you can dwell on it and such, but like, it really doesn't help. You just have to like do what you can do within yourself, and
Yeah.
that's a hard pill to swallow. But I guess
Do you
that's it. I
reckon
have to
like that
move
was
on.
like the biggest thing for you, like having to come to terms to just like be okay with it or accept it and just be one with it? Do you think that was like the
I
thing
mean, you
that,
have to, otherwise you could be stuck in the past or not moving at all, and
yeah.
like like, and
I've
then
had a lot of guests in the past that I've spoken to who've, been through some kind of trauma, or, experienced some kind of injustice to them, who've said, they've lived in that sort of victim mentality for a really long time. They lived feeling guilty or anger or, resentment towards people for a very, very long time. It took a lot of therapy and work to sort of like come to terms with it. And so that's sort of like what I mean, where I sort of want to delve a little bit deeper. So like, you know, I mean, I can still sense there is still, you know, that there is still a sense of sadness, maybe, but at the same time, you've
yeah.
also come to terms with like, it is what it is.
I
That's how
mean,
it
you
is,
have
and I'm
to,
I'm okay
otherwise
with it.
you're never gonna move anywhere. Like, that's kind of the big thing. Like, we go to therapy. Like, you can talk about it all you want, and like there's two, like a therapist, there's two situation they are. They can either hold you or they can push you, and like, there's a time where you want to be held and such. But that's why they gotta push. Like, like, I interviewed a therapist and she said that like, people are waiting for like the perfect moment, but like, what if the best moment is now, but you just keep waiting and waiting and waiting, and I'm like, I'm
Mm,
not gonna just keep waiting. I'm gonna do whatever I want to do
yeah,
now, because it can be gonna happen in my life. It's gonna get worse in the future. I don't know how, but it's gonna get worse, and there's nothing I can do about it. So like, the best situation is now. I mean, you can kind of, I guess, for a regular person, it could be like age. Like, you're the youngest now. You're the healthiest now. Like,
mm,
you should want to do everything now. Like, I mean, with some caveats, like, you shouldn't just blow $10,000 on a trip because like you want to do it now. Like, you can maybe split it among a couple of years, but like, yeah, the best. Most of our lives, it could be the best time in our life. I mean,
yeah,
sure, there are people that may be working really hard and making a living and such, but like, this, for me, it would be the best time of my life at this point. Like, I'm not gonna walk again, and I know my life can get worse, so it gets slow downhill. So it will be the best for me, and I have to embrace it, because
yeah,
if I'm still focused on my path, and then my life gets worse, then like, I spend all the time on my path, not doing anything now, and then it's like, you just fall into a deeper depression. So it's either accept it and move on, because otherwise you just can be stuck in this rubble for your entire life, and that's not
yeah,
a good way to go.
yeah. How would you say like this physical disability of yours like defines you or is a very strong part of your identity, or are you kind of like able to look at it as like a two separate thing? I'm me, I'm beyond this, and this is just something that I have.
I mean, it. I'm just Joe Sooch with a disability. Like, I don't put the two together. Some people do. A lot of disabled people will put a disability as their whole identity, and I don't think so. I try to not have it as my identity. Like, I'm a video editor and all that. Like, I don't introduce myself like I'm Joe Seuss, I'm disabled. Like, no one, like,
Mm,
you don't introduce yourself like, hi, I'm a woman. Like, you don't say
yeah,
yourself like, it's clearly that I'm disabled. So like, but like it doesn't really. It does affect situations of like maybe stuff that we do together, but I bring myself what I know. So like I video edit and stuff. So I feel like I bring that to the table. So like if I'm talking to someone like you, like we will discuss about like video editing and podcasting and stuff.
Very last question. I don't want to take too much of your time. So can you just tell me sort of like something that you've taken away? You've mentioned a lot of different things in this episode. I feel like, you talk so much about living in the present, and you're like that perfect example of someone who's really living in the moment, living in the present, and just trying to make do with whatever life is thrown at you. But one sort of message you would like to get away to our listeners today?
Just do whatever you want to do. Like just stop putting limits on yourself. Stop making excuses for it. Like if you want to do something, just go and achieve it. Like if people don't support you, like so what? Like you're gonna live in other people's shadows, or you're gonna live for yourself. So but also make sacrifices if you need to, if you want to achieve something. Like if you want to work out, but like you have to sacrifice something else. So like you have to sacrifice like hanging out less with your friends or family. You have to juggle it together and like just do whatever you want to do. Like you want to post naked for the internet, go for it. Like no one can stop you. Like there's a lot of things in your mind stopping you, but nothing's stopping you from anything. No one's stopping you from making a Instagram post. No one's stopping you from making videos. You can talk about anything you want. You have a lot of power that you just don't realize. Like just go hard on it. Like this is it. I don't know what you're waiting for. Just do it.
If you enjoyed the episode and would like to help support the show, please follow and subscribe. You can rate and review your feedback on any of our platforms listed in the description. I'd like to recognize our guests who are vulnerable and open to share their life experiences with us. Thank you for showing us we're human. Also, a thank you to our team who worked so hard behind the scenes to make it happen.
Chris Trzynski, Stefan Menzel.
The show would be nothing without you. I'm Jenica, host and writer of the show, and you're listening to Multispective.